Hi guys, Aceface back with another video for you. I've got another battle report and I've got a guest in the house. Mr. Sean is here. He's drinking a beer, being miserable.
Not at all.
Not at all. He's ready. You ready for this one, Sean?
Sean invited me down. He said he wanted to have a bat rep with a little bit more fun.
A little bit more fun?
A little bit more fun, yeah. A bit more tempo.
But everybody else was busy, so we got Sean here instead.
Yeah, last choice.
Last choice. But yeah, no, so, and the good thing is, Sean has taken my AdMech Force off my hands, so I know it's going to be in safe hands, but it means you guys get to see definitely one last game with them, but also it means with Sean having them, you might see him in the future in other battle reports. So that's pretty good news for me, so we don't see the end of them, hopefully. So we've got nice board out here. This is going to be a nice epic game between Tyranids and AdMech. I'll go through the forces in a minute, and we are playing ITC Mission 4. This is kind of a practice game for the greetings from the Warp Tournament SummerSlam in a week or so. We've ramped it up to 1850 points because this isn't quite Sean's finished list, so we thought it was easier just to try a few things and take it up to 1850, but this is pretty much my list, and a slight tampering with Sean's list, but it should get quite an idea what it's going to be. Start off with this AdMech Force. Sean, can you go through your beautiful army?
So not exactly the force I play on a regular basis, but I'll go through some of the pretty cool things. So we've got a Tech Priest Dominus with a Volkite Blaster. To date has never killed anyone in combat. They don't really do that, more of a buffing unit for the rest of the army. So I've placed them here with the Destroyers, isn't that right? Yeah,
no, with the Breachers.
The Breachers, they're the guys with the grav cannons.
Don't you know what? Don't you know it, mate?
No, you'll find this out quite quickly. You'll find this quite quickly. Massive holes in my rules knowledge, or my army knowledge. So he has the mask that lets him pick the mysterious objectives. So we're going to give obviously this unit Skyfire against John's Flyers, but he's got them in a void shield generator, so we'll probably have a 30-inch bubble. In this building over here, we have the infiltrators who are well positioned to avoid those flamer templates, but if we can get Shroud Plasma off...
They are the Destroyers, actually, you are right.
Oh, John, you've put me completely off tempo now. We might have to start this again. Still off tempo, but anyway. These guys have got the little Uzis, and they're incredible covering the ground, the same as the Rust Stalkers, so get an extra 3 inches with the movement. These are a new unit for me, so I actually haven't used... I don't even know what that unit's called.
Robots.
The robots.
Castellan
robots.
Something like that. Yep.
So I would probably play this unit as a shooter unit. So I'd have the twin-linked phosphorus blasters, heavy phosphorus blasters, and the blaster on top. But it'd be pretty interesting to see if we get them in combat with the Nids. Quite a high toughness 7.
Toughness 7,
yeah. They'll do some work. This guy here is actually getting a 25% cover in case John manages to seal the initiative.
You're happy with that, aren't you?
I am actually happy, yeah.
He's very smug.
If I can get Stealth and Shrouded off, that's a 2+ cover save. Him in the open and him. My knight has the Gatling. Is it the Gatling blaster?
It is. It's the Gatling cannon.
Gatling cannon. Wow, this is major edits. Let's review this a couple of times.
Gatling cannon.
I'd probably play this with the chainsword, but it'd be pretty cool if I can pick up one of your monstrous creatures, trot around, kill a few.
That's not going to
happen. And then to kind of speed it up, we've got the Vanguard, all plasma. We've got the Rangers with plasma. Again, I've given them one of the relics to re-roll the mysterious objective. Not many people do, but if you get Skyfire, it's pretty cool. I got the Rust Stalkers again. We'll go through the rules with them when we get there. And we got some breachers here with the what is that?
They've got the torsion cannons.
Yeah, not great. Great against monstrous creatures. You cause a wound because you got D3. It's kind of like a melted plus D3. And then we have probably my favourite unit of the AdMech, which is the Doomcrawler. And this is absolutely lethal against any flying units or any units you just want to take a few pot shots at. So I can see John. His head's gonna be hanging. It's gonna be a prime target for him. If he don't go after this, then I think this could cause his flyer into a lot of trouble throughout the game.
First mistake, Sean. First mistake.
First battle report. And if I don't win, I'm gonna trash your house.
Yeah, you're not gonna win. Right. Okay. So that is this War Convication. Has a very, very nasty list.
Do you want me to talk through your army? Because I can do this fairly easily.
No, you're not, sure. As I said, this War Convication is a very nasty list. Even though it's necessary, it might not necessarily be the absolute optimised version of it. Against Tyranids, who are a pretty underdog codex, it's going to be a tough uphill battle for me. And Sean, as much as he might seem like a very dumb, useless player, he is actually
absolutely dumb and useless.
He's actually quite a pro, and he's very capable of using this army to its best ability.
Have I won anything yet? Did I win the LVO?
You didn't win the LVO. So next, guys, shut up. So next, guys, we'll go over this Tyranid Force, and then we'll go into deployment. Right, guys, and to face off against this nasty AdMech War Convocation, we have the newest format of High Fleet Voro. So I'll run through what I've got in this list. It's very basic. Once the new FAQ becomes official, it becomes even more viable, but I still think it's a good force now. So I'll run through what I have got. So leading the force, we have the unmistakable Spike, Hive Fleet Voros, Killer, Hive Tyrant. And he is set up obviously with wings and twin link devourers. He has electroshock grubs, and that is him ready to go. He then has with him a trio of other hive tyrants, again set up in exactly the same way. So we've got lots of haywire there, we've got lots of shots, and we've got quite a lot of survivability with them hopefully being in the sky. We then have, in my troops choice, we have 2 Tervagants. Now both of these Tervagants have got crushing claws, just in case any mech drops in the back lines, these guys will be able to cope with them. On this one here with the Spike for his head, he has got the Misma Cannon. He also has electroshock grubs as well, so he's got 2 sets of flamers there. So he's able to again deal with stuff dropping in. The Misma Cannon will mean he's wounding anything on a 2, and then he's got something that's quite capable of taking out mech as well, and with those crushing claws he can cause quite a threat. Because he's in the troops choice, he has to have his 30 gaunts all set up as absolute standard with their flesh borers, and then his buddy next to him, this guy has again the crushing claws, as I said. He also again has the electroshock grubs on him, so again he has got quite a lot of power to see off mech and squishy stuff that drops in the back lines, and he's accompanied by his big blob of gaunts. Then the last piece of this jigsaw puzzle is the mighty and always reliable Malanthrope. So he will sit in there making sure to give everything a very good save and keep that first turn alpha strike hopefully at bay. Now this is 1750 points of High Fleet Voro. This would be slightly padded out for a 1850 point game by stripping off some of the potential unnecessary upgrades from the Tervagants. It will then potentially give me room for a Void Shield generator, which again will give me somewhat extra resilience for that first turn, and will keep the backfield nice and safe and sound. So this is my force. Be very interested to see what you think. I think particularly when the FAQ drops, and those Tervigans spawned gaunts become objective secure, this becomes an extremely good force. So you've seen my force. The only addition to it is a void shield generator with 2 layers, because just to make up the 1850 points, because Sean wanted to play 1850.
Yeah, but it's 100 points for 3 layers.
It is 100 points for 3 layers, so it's 3 layers. Yeah. 3 layers. Look at that, smug. Alright guys, so now we'll have a quick look at deployment. So as I said, Sean's already pretty much gone through it, but he's infiltrated these guys over here. They're onto the objective. So the objectives are, we've got 1 there, we've got 1 there, we've got 1 over in the ruins over the far side, we've got 1 by the destroyed land raider, we've got 1 over here by the Dominus, we've got another over in the open ground, and I believe that is it for the objectives. So
seize the initiative.
So I will seize the initiative in a minute. Just hang on again, Sean. Look, you've got to wait.
Getting all excited.
You've got to wait. He's getting excited, guys. So as you can see, they've spread across. They're covering their bases. They're a very quick force off the mark with some scouts and all sorts going on. So they've really covered their bases over here. I rolled the warlord trait to infiltrate extra units. So I've infiltrated the Tervigan a little bit further forward. I kind of got a bit scared, to be fair. Even with night fighting, there's an awful lot of shooty stuff, and at the moment Sean has first turn. So these guys over here, player. I am an aggressive player. Just shut up.
Well, I gotta scout my guys first. Just might have to start this again.
Just wait. So then I've infiltrated these gaunts over here. So in a second we will see where Sean decides to scout, and then after that I will come back and try and seize the initiative on a 5 up, because he has the big guy.
5 up.
So we'll come back in a minute, guys. Right guys, so scout moves have happened, so there's actually been more shuffling backwards, so these guys have kind of readjusted to make sure that some are out of line of sight. The Ruststalkers got very scared of the big blob of gaunts and have shuffled back. Sean's playing the long game, he's told me, so we'll see what happens with there. His Dragoon has again just shifted slightly, just moved forward a little bit, but staying, making sure he's holding the ground, hiding the knight a little bit. And that's pretty much it, so in a second we'll go back and see if I can steal the initiative.
Here we are, look at him. It's not as clean as you guys all think it is. John, just give me a second while I move around here. Look, it captures your face as well, does it? A face thing.
Yeah, it does.
Here we are, guys. Seize the initiative on a 5+. You don't do dice rolling though, so do I just capture your faces?
No, you do this dice. You do this dice.
You only do 1 dice roll, okay.
You do dice roll.
So here we go.
Really?
No, don't roll big. If you roll big, I'll be fucking disappointed. After 2.
Right, so end of movement, Skitarii have come up, and so have the Admech, so they're making a march up. They're being timid in places to make sure they hug some cover. Sean has activated the Stealth and Shrouded. It is night fighting as well, so everything's pretty well resilient. So they've moved up, just bearing in mind that they don't want to get too badly shot up first turn by the Flyrants. So they're just being very careful as they make their stomp up the board. Sean's eyeing up some targets, so we'll see what happens as we go into the shooting phase. Right, okay, end of shooting and end of turn for Admech, so not a lot that Sean could shoot at, so he's just absolutely obliterated this unit of gaunts, taking it down to pretty much well over half strength, just by everything shooting at it. So we've had the knight shoot at it, we've had some of the rangers, we've had the robots double shooting into them, so quite a lot of shooting going in, and because of the -1 cover from the robots, everything's pretty much obliterating them also, so some big damage going on there, but nothing else hurt. They're only gaunts.
That's big.
Is that big?
It's big.
It's big.
How does Lauren say it? It's big. It's big.
I've got to deal with this clown. We've got to deal with this clown. So that is the end of turn 1 for the Admech. So they drew, their objectives were hold objective 1 and to kill a unit. So they've not managed to kill a unit, but we'll see about holding objective 1 as we go into Tyranids. So end of movement for Tyranids, so pretty much trying to avoid the Grav that have got Skyfire, and trying to stay in the Void Shield generator as well. So everything's kind of moved across this side, all the Flyrants are flying, the Tervigans have moved up a little bit, they've spawned, so got a big 12 spawn from this one, but she also rolled triple 4, so she won't be doing any more. That one got a smaller roll of 7, but she's fine to go, so she'll carry on and drop her load over there. And these guys have moved up. These guys have moved a little bit closer to the Dragoon, and these guys have moved across here, looking towards these guys. So that's it, and then we'll go on to the psychic phase. Right guys, so in the psychic phase, so lots of psychic powers, everything going off. We had a couple of perils. One made the Warlord roll a 6, so he has now got a 3-up invuln, which is quite tasty. And then the other one of pretty much of note, I really tried to goad Sean in to try and get rid of something else, but I was holding off with the Catalyst, so we used Catalyst onto the Warlord. We perils on triple 6s and lost a wound from this guy.
You don't get Cataclysm because you roll a D3, you lose that many warp charge points. So roll me D3 dice. Go on, John, roll a 6.
He's wrong. He's wrong. He's wrong.
I just read the rules.
He's wrong.
I read the rules.
He's wrong.
Amateur hour here with...
He's wrong. He's wrong. So we've got Catalyst off, and we've got a lot of onslaughts as well. So the gauntlets are going to run up a bit further, but that's pretty much it. And we've basically made this guy absolutely useless. He's -3 weapon skill, ballistic skill.
He's -2 anyway. From the canonical, so he's 0.
He's 0.
But he's tough.
But he's tough.
He's tough, made of metal.
He's tough. So we'll go on to shooting now for Tyranids. Right, so end of turn for the Tyranids. So we've done the shooting. So after trying to get a few shots off from these guys, did get one through, but Sean failed on his passed on his full of pain. The Flyrants all unloaded onto the Dragoon. What's it called?
The
Dragoon,
and you got your feel no pain. You got your 6, didn't you? So your Warlord is a tank right now.
Anyway, so we put those shots into him, and even with a 2-up, Sean failed 2, so he went down. The Gaunts had some shooting at the little Rust Stalkers down there, but didn't do any damage, and that was pretty much it. As we go into Admech turn 2. Right, so into movement for the Admech turn 2. Sean's gone for hold 2 objectives, so he's holding objective 1 again, holding objective 3. So he's holding both of them down, and he's slowly coming forward, looking to hopefully put some damage on some Flyrants potentially this turn, but the Void Shield generator is still a concern. So the Infiltrators have come forward, looking at the Gaunts potentially. The Knight stomped up round this side, potentially eyeing up the Tervagon. The robots come forward a little bit, and everything else is just pretty much shuffling around. The Grav guys are potentially trying to see if they can get in range, see whether they can get any shots in. Pretty dangerous while they're sitting on that Skyfire Nexus. And so we'll see what happens now as we go into shooting for the Admech. Shooting for Admech. So pretty uneventful, but all importantly, the Void Shield has come down. So just a combination of all the strength 6 shooting has just about taken it down, and that is pretty much it. There was also some Skyfire shooting coming from the Dune Crawler, but I made lots and lots of saves on this guy, so he didn't take any damage at all. So pretty lucky for me, because odds were I should have taken maybe 1 or 2 wounds from that. So that's pretty good for me. But what we'll see now as we go into the assault phase for the Admech. So end of the assault phase, these guys have rushed in against the Gaunts, just made the charge barely, and absolutely obliterated me. Took 17 wounds, in fact hit me back so far that we've broken out of combat because you just couldn't consolidate in, which is absolutely crazy amount of damage. So the Gaunts are still alive, but these guys are right up in my grill now. And there's not a lot I can do about it. Everybody else is well away, and I can't really come back round this way just because of the threat of the Grav. So that's quite a good move from Sean. He's definitely going to be in my grill, and I'm going to really struggle to hold this objective because these guys do have a lot of attacks and can cause quite a lot of damage. So I don't know whether the Mana Folk can hold up to that, but we'll have to wait and see. That's the end of turn 2 for the Admech, so we'll go into turn 3. Turn 2 for the Tyranids. Right, so end of movement for Tyranids, and Sean's made a schoolboy error. He's looking worried now, can you see? He's looking concerned. So the Flyrants have all flown up. Now, Sean, knowing full well that I can't hurt him with the Twin-Link Devourers, completely forgot about the Haywire Flamers. So potentially his Knight might take a bit of damage this turn. He's not going to kill him, but potentially we can take some damage there. So we'll see how we get on with that. Everything else has pretty much moved up. It's been a real tough decision to decide what I'm going to do over here. In the end of the day, I don't think I'm going to get away with just hiding from it. I can't get away from them, they're too quick. So we're going to have to face facts and see whether we can do some damage to these guys before they just run through my lines. Everything else has moved up. The remaining Tervagon that could still spawn only spawned 5 and is also menopaused as well, so she's not going anywhere, and she's spawned her last Termagant. So they're all out on the board now. We won't see any more Termagants. These guys have come forward, so have the other unit. I've got to hold objective 2 and hold objective 3, which are the one that's in there, and then the one that's out here. Otherwise I'd have had to go for the one that's down this side. Sean, just to kind of let you know, needs to hold this objective, and also needs to hold this objective. So he should get both his 2 this turn. I got both mine last turn, so it's currently 2-1 to me, and all to play for as we go into my psychic phase.
Blow up and yeah, take you down.
He's going down, he's going down. Right guys, so end of psychic phase, and pretty successful. So quite a lot of psychic powers cast. I've got a couple of onslaughts, so the big plan was to get behind the knight if I could, so I could let off with the Twin Link Devourers. So Sean very went for the first attempt at it and managed to get it off. I only managed to get 1-6 through, so he did get rid of that. And then I tried to do a few other bits and pieces, so I got the Warp Lance off. I hit it, but I failed to even glance the knight, which is a bit of a killer. I went for Catalyst. I got Catalyst off successfully without peril, so the Warlord's got Catalyst again, and so is the guy at the back that's lost a wound. But then, most importantly, I did get the Onslaught off the second time, so the guy with the wings down that's on the nest is about to fly over the top of the knight and shoot him in the arse. So we'll see how we get on now as we go into the shooting phase for Tyranids. Right, so end of shooting.
John made a big mistake. John made a biggie. Wait till you see next turn.
He thinks I've made a tactical error, but actually I think I've played it perfectly. So after getting the onslaught, the Flyrant flew over the top. All the Flyrants decided to shoot their flamers at the knight. I rolled really badly, rolled 2-1, so only 1 hull point taken off the knight. So the guy that came over there, I think potentially if I'd taken 3 hull points, it might have made a really tough decision. But after only taking 1, I knew that I couldn't really do anything against the knight that turn. Potentially I would have got maybe 1, maybe 2 more hull points, but instead I thought that was a really good opportunity to take out the thing that would biggest threat to my guys in the sky. So I shot all the Devourers into the Doom Crawler and managed to take it out. So the Skyfire is heavily reduced now. Other shooting, not really much happened, so more running, just running around, blocking objectives, just trying to get in as much good positions as possible. These guys came across into that side, she came up a little bit, these guys ran across, and the Malanthrope was obviously just waiting to charge. These guys put some shots on, but because the guys got a towing cover, really couldn't do much to these guys. We'll see what we can do in combat as we go into the assault phase. Okay, so end of the assault phase. A pretty good assault for the Admech. They've eaten through majority of the gaunts. The Malanthrope stepped up for a challenge. Did do slightly better and took 1 wound off the Alpha, and took no damage back, so that's pretty good.
No, I
felt paid, so no issues there. And that was more or less it. So pretty good for me on the whole.
Now.
Big turn, but we'll see what the Admech can do now. They need to cause some serious damage because otherwise they're going to be in trouble. But they've got the ability to do it.
Got most of the army.
You've got most of the army, so we'll see what happens.
You've killed a Dragoon. You've killed a Walker.
And a Walker.
That's 110 points in 2 turns.
It's a big amount of points.
Yeah, it's big. And how many gaunts have I killed?
Gaunts,
I probably killed 120
because they're really expensive.
They're not. What are they worth?
120 points for a unit of 30.
Haven't killed a unit yet.
There you go.
Haven't killed a unit.
Haven't killed a unit. There we go. So we'll go on now to Admech turn 3.
Right. Do you want me to do what Lawrence Baker does in Tabletop Tactics and just like seize the initiative, but we'll call this like seize the Skyfire and win the game?
No. No.
That was a terrible effort, wasn't it?
So
that is not going on.
Right, guys. So, okay, so...
Now, John.
Okay, so end of movement for Admech. We've just been bantering, so apologies. Right, so what happened with the Admech? So they've decided to go for a re-roll all hits, which is pretty good, and the Skitarii have boosted their ballistic skill by 1. So they've all home around. They really need to do some damage from these Flyrants. The Grav guys have moved through cover and they are in range to cause some damage on my Flyrant, which is really bad news seeing they've got Skyfire. Everything else is circling around. They know I've got this objective as well. They want to clear me off that to stop me from scoring that. The Knight's ready to pounce if anything drops. So we're holding tight here because this could be quite brutal. There's a hell of a lot of shooting going on. So we'll see what happens as we go into the shooting phase for Admech. So end of shooting, and it could have been a lot better for Admech. I think I got away a little bit lightly, so a hell of a lot of shooting, and actually at the moment 4 Flyrants are still alive. There has been some damage done, so basically this one took 1 wound, but then fell to the ground, losing another wound, so he is on the ground. The Warlord lost 1 wound, in fact lost it to just like little ranger shooting in the end. Managed to do right against everything else, but he did jink, and so did the guy at the front. The two at the back that braved it and didn't jink. This guy lost a wound, and the guy at the back didn't lose anything at all. He has already lost a wound from before, so we've got that one on 3, that one on 3, Warlord on 3, and this guy on the front on 2. So they all have taken damage, but all Flyrants are alive still, which is not great for Admech, but there's still a lot they can do. And with one Flyrant dropping to the ground, it's going to be interesting what Sean does now as we go into the assault phase for Admech. Things started to turn a little bit at the end of the assault phase there. Good assault phase for the Admech after the Hive Tyrant fell to the floor. The Knight charged him. I did smash, and I did take off 2 hull points, so he's down to half his hull points, which is not bad. But then he turned around, smashed the Hive Tyrant, killed him off. Nothing to hurl him at, but that was that. And then over here, my Malifaux only hangs on in there at 1 wound left. I did take some. I used my Toxic Miasma, the 1 use only, caused a bit of damage. Did kill off the Alpha in the challenge. But against those guys, I might struggle to hang on in there for another turn. We'll have to wait and see. I'll have to get very lucky, potentially get some support from friends, but we'll have to wait and see. So in that turn, I did manage to get one of my objectives, so I held on in there on the 3, but I was pulled off this objective, so I missed out on getting that, so I only got 1 objective, so it's still pretty close. I'm in a good position to cause some damage this turn, but I have lost a Flyrant, and my Warlord is also jinking, so we'll see what happens as we go into turn 3. In the psychic phase, Sean thinks I've made a mistake.
Cataclysm, it's your go-to weapon. You lose one of those, dude, and the game's now it's in the balance.
So you reckon? So basically, what we did was
tell them what you did, John, and you didn't even cast sending off as well. It was wasted dice.
So we tried to horror these guys, which we didn't manage to get off. What we did then was we went for Paroxysm onto the Knight, which we got off, took him down -2 for his weapon skill, which I think potentially could be really big. And then after that we tried to do the Psychic Scream, which we also failed to do. And then after that we tried to Catalyst on 1 dice. That was risky, and I did fail it, so no Catalyst in play, which could be quite brutal with the Grav guys obviously coming in hot potentially. So we'll have to see what happens as we now go into the shooting phase for Tyranids. Okay, so it's all heating up. Potentially some mistakes made, so we'll have to wait and see. Not too sure. So the Tyrants have got to split the fire. So Sean decided to go for shield against the Tervigan's Flamer, and did alright there. So the Knight is down to just 2 hull points. The Flyrant closest to the Knight then did shoot into him with the Flamer, and then 6 of his Devourers. And again, no damage, so just the 1 extra hull point, so he's down to 2. The last Flyrant then, seeing that I need to try and clear this objective, kind of realised that might have been a bit of a bloodlust mistake, and I flamed to a bit of both units, but didn't do too well, and only took 1 of the Rangers, and then did kill off with the Devourers one of the breachers at the back, but they did not run away. So that's kind of that.
At home. That's big.
Yeah, and obviously not getting my fill no pain as well, that potentially could be quite dangerous. So what we've got now is assault phase. Tervigan's going to see whether he can do some work with his armour bane. The Knight's obviously paroxysmed out, so we'll see what happens. The stomp's going to be important, and we'll see whether the Malifaux can survive another turn. So we go into the assault phase for Tyranids. Right guys, so an epically exciting turn there. Potentially a big swing. There's been some serious casualties on both sides. So the Knight did go down to the Tervigan, but not before he punched him in the face, killing him as well with some really good hits there. Hit with everything.
Fired his Gatling cannon as he fell over, took the Flyrant down.
Yeah, unfortunately the blast, because there is nothing that says that it doesn't hit flyers, and obviously it scattered back, and it did take out the Knight, took out the Flyrant, so the Flyrant then came plummeting to the ground.
This one?
That one there.
No, this one here, because it was closest.
Oh, so it must be so swapping around the other way the points, but so yeah, so he went down to the ground and took a wound on the way down. Not much other casualties done there, so that was kind of that. And then over here, the infiltrators got their man, killed the Malifaux and consolidated on. These Rust Stalkers have killed the last of the Termagants and have also marching forward now for the Tyranid lines. So we have one Flyrant here, 1 wound, one on 3 wounds, and the Warlord who's gone off the board ready to come back. And now the Admech can start turning round. They've got potentially some Grav still in range, so there's potentially a lot of chance to damage both those Flyrants, if not kill them both. And then with just one Flyrant left and the backfield of the Termagant and a few Gaunts, it's looking a bit daunting for the Tyranids. I'll potentially still get my objective from over here. Unfortunately, Sean will get both his objectives this turn, so he will start to take quite a lead. And I haven't got a lot of troops to take these objectives for the primary, so it's looking not great for Tyranids now in a quick turn. But we'll see as we go into turn 4 for the Admech. Okay, right, some chivying around from the Admech. They're trying to make this really hurt. This turn could see off all last hope really and threat if they roll hot. And to be fair, only if they really need to roll average, or I need to get sort of a bit unlucky. So basically, the guys with the Grav have come out just to make sure they can both get good shots on. There's some shimmying around over here. In fact, some really poor run moves. So not run moves. Move through cover rolls have kind of stumped them a little bit. The robots are kind of moving around here. One's got a good sight, the other one's a bit blocked by the wall, but it's probably not going to make too much difference. The two sort of fast little guys, so the Rust Stalkers have made a run up. They're really in pouncing range. It'd have to be a pretty bad roll not to make combat, and these guys should make combat with these Gaunts, so that's kind of where that is. So yeah, it's going to be quite interesting. There'll be quite a lot of damage, I should think, now, and this could really put a bit of pain on. Sean's feeling confident. He's got his game face on.
It's the Cataclysm. That's what's going to hurt.
He reckons.
I reckon hurt this guy.
We'll see as we go into shooting phase for the Admech. Okay, so the end of shooting, not too bad, but actually I've probably got off lucky. So one Tyrant is remaining with 1 wound left, and he stayed in the sky. The other Flyrant went down, just a mass shooting, and just managed to stick one in there, which is pretty good. It holds me in there a little bit. I've got 2 Flyrants. He'll probably fly off, and if I can survive another round, then we'll be all right there. 2 Flyrants will be very handy. So pretty much everything shot at him. The only other sort of action that came over here was they took some damage, the Gaunts, as these guys shot their little Uzis in, but they'll almost certainly now finish them off in combat. So we'll see what happens as we go into the assault phase. Cool, so end of the assault phase, pretty brutal stuff. So these guys over here have gone through most of the Termagants, a few hanging on in there. These guys killed off the few, there are only 5 there, so they killed them off and kind of consolidated. And that's kind of where we are at the moment. The Admech are making their approach, there's very little Tyranids left. We've got 2 Tyrants, 1 on 1 wound, the Flyrant on 3 wound, the Warlord on 3 wound, he's going to come back. But that's about it as we go into Tyranids, turn 4. Very short movement, a bit of umming and ahhing what to do. So I've gone for kill. I'm not going to get it. Maelstrom's pretty much gone. We've just been having a conversation, and I don't think it's possible because I just cannot get Sean off the objectives. He's taken this side of the board. So the Hive Tyrant with 1 wound has flown off the board, and he'll come back on next turn with his 1 remaining wound. The Warlord has come on. He's flying over this way. Just bear in mind I don't want to be anywhere near the shooting up that side of the board. He's got 3 wounds left, but I really don't want him to get damaged. So he is then potentially going to have some shots on these guys. The Termagant's turned round. He's trying to make sure he keeps his aura so those guys don't run away, but he's staying ready for the charge. So potentially these guys are gone, so you just need to kill these guys and then turn back to try and stop those guys from taking the objective, which is achievable. We should easily be able to finish these guys off this turn. We've got double flamer from the Termagant and the shots from there. These guys should not survive, but we'll see what happens with these guys. And then going into the next turn, I should hopefully then be able to concentrate my efforts on holding this side of the board. So we'll see what happens as we go into the shooting, so the psychic, and we'll do the shooting phase as well for this Tyranid. Okay, so the Flyrant came on, as we said. Psychic phase, we did pin the infiltrators, and then we also proc system as well, so like -3 weapon skill, ballistic skill, so they were properly doomed. The Flyrant on his own finished them off. The Tervagan then tried to turn tail to try and hold the ground again, but just rolled a 1, so just shunted back. And then obviously in the assault phase, these guys cleared out the few remaining termagants that were there, and they're staring down the other last few that are sitting down there in the face. So they should finish them off this turn, and it'll be just interesting what I can do next turn as we go into turn 5. So this will be turn 5 for the Admech. So we'll see what happens now as we go into Admech turn 5. Right, okay, so end of the Admech turn. We just went for the whole turn. So basically, all that happened really was everything is marching down for the objective. Robot's got a really good run, and they're now just in touching distance of that objective. The Rust Stalkers over there finished off the other unit of Gaunts and have consolidated onto that objective. And that is pretty much it. Everything else is just kind of holding fast. It's where it needs to be. These guys have moved up to make sure they're holding their objective, just to try and make sure that Sean can take both primary and secondary. It's looking very, very difficult. There are some ways we can do it, but it's pretty tough. So in a minute my other Florent will come on, we'll see what damage we can do. A few things are going to have to go to the deck, which is hard because these guys will pick off anything that comes within their range, which has been the bane of my life the whole game. So we'll see what happens. It's really going to be touch and go. We're getting late in the evening. We'll really see how we get on now as we go into Tyranid turn 5 and potentially the last turn of the game. Right, and the brutality goes on. So at the end of turn 5 we just rolled, the game is going on. The Tervagan failed to kill the guys over there, amazingly, even with them being paroxysmed from the psychic phase and then being like weapon skill 2, and the Tervagan actually took 3 wounds, so she's on half strength, which is not good. I did get the Florent, obviously he got onslaught, so he flew over there and he only killed 2 of the guys, so he did horrendously bad as well. We did do quite well over here. We took 2 wounds off the robot with some very lucky shooting from the Florent. He's on the floor. These guys have been also paroxysmed as well, so we're going to go very quickly into a turn 6 for Admech. Right guys, so we've rushed through that turn, and basically it all came down to the fact that he managed to get one with a really good run, well not really good run, a really good move through cover. He got his grav guy, so he had a bead on the Hive Tyrant. He castled everything up around this objective, so all I had a chance was next turn to drop to the ground, try and flame them out, potentially get them both to run away and hold that objective. I needed my Tervagan to kill his last remaining guy there, and then obviously this guy would have taken that objective, and potentially, you know, we could have taken that off, and then we would have been in a good position. Potentially, if the game gone on, we could have run away with the primary, but unfortunately his grav guy got in range, and the grav have been, particularly with Skyfire, just absolutely been obliterating me all game long. Even though, to be fair, been quite unlucky with some of the rolls, but just the sheer threat range of it has just been immense. So even though I managed to really ride my luck and didn't take any wounds from anything else, that one grav guy, I had to jink it, and just jinking it alone meant that there was no way that I was going to be able to flame. So that was pretty much nail in the coffin. But then 3 wounds through, couldn't make the jink, so he went down. Then after that, really the game was all over. I didn't manage to kill. I rolled all misses with my Tervagan, even with paroxysm with his guy. And then just really because I just wanted to kind of do something, because I never, as you know guys, I never ever give up. So the Hive Tyrant was going to just try, the Warlord was going to try and take the robots out. He generated his cannicles, not his cannicles, his protocol to make him close combat, and because I was going through a cover, he just managed to beat off the Hive Tyrant Warlord to kill me off and basically just leave the Tervagan. And that was it. So I think the Tervagan only had 1 wound at the end. So how you feeling?
I'm knackered.
Yeah?
Too much gaming.
Too much gaming. See, all his banter's gone now. He's just exhausted. He's tired.
I didn't have any in first place.
But thanks so much, Sean. Hope you've enjoyed the game. Thanks for coming down.
Enjoyed it.
Hope you enjoy your new army, and hopefully we'll see it back on the channel in not the too near distant future.
Is that your first loss, John?
No, unfortunately. I wish it was my first loss, but not quite. Not quite. Maybe my second. No. Brutal. But yeah, it was, I mean, Admech, absolutely epic, really powerful army, and as we said, this isn't actually the most powerful way of running it, but still really good. Sean played it absolutely right. He really did manage to keep this side of the ball, just with the sheer threat from that Skyfire. Everything else did its work, so even though we caused some massive damage, in the end Sean played it bang on, which is what I would expect.
Got rid of Cataclysm and just should have kept you guys in the air.
No, it wasn't.
It was all about that.
So Sean has the last laugh today. We'll get him next time. Thanks very much for watching guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.